I think this means we're live. There it is. Corinne.
Hey everyone, welcome to Live with the IAL. I'm Corinne Lewis, Director of Fan Experience, and today is our schedule release show for the 2026 kickoff for the IAL. And with me today is the one and only Dan Lest, our commissioner. How's it going, Dan?
It's good. Corinne, I know you're having like video issues. Your video looks better today than it normally does. I don't know.
Really? Is it good?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I like that then. Good. Well, you know what? This is a big day. We get to finally tell all of our fans and everyone our schedule. So I say let's get with it. Let's do it.
Okay. So listen, we apologize for a little bit of the video delay. We'll say somebody shared the wrong link with some people. So there was way too many people joining our link. And then the same issue happened again. So this is, yeah, you don't need to know that. Yeah, this is my first time, I think, ever doing two live streams in a week. So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly a special day. I guess, for our purposes, we were alluding to it. We're alluding big things are on the horizon. It took a while, and let's just say with two divisions, 5 teams in America, 5 teams overseas, it's not really easy to come up with the schedule. Just like matrix wise, you have 5 teams in each division. So somebody in theory needs to be on bye every week unless you have interleague play. So let's just say it was a work in progress to get it done. We're really happy we did. And yeah, so, with that being said, you guys we're going to keep you on your toes because interleague play is kind of on a rolling basis. We want to showcase those teams being overseas. We're not going to have, like, for example, week 7 and 8 that are just like everyone is interleague because I don't think that has the correct luster, luster, right? So, but yeah, it's going to be very exciting. We're going to have interleague play. It's not going to start immediately, but it's going to continue all the way into the very end of the season, and we think that's only appropriate because we have 2 leagues that are competing for this prize. So really the standings really cannot be, unless someone's undefeated or something like that, it's gonna be very hard to be running away with it as interleague play continues until the very last week of the season. So yeah, I'm excited to finally reveal what we've been working on.
I love it. I think Dan, we're going to start with week 1 and I'm sure everybody's got pen to paper wanting to write this down. So go ahead.
Well, I'm going to ask my my trusty friend Elijah to help us with our visual cues. I know the schedule. There we go. Listen, I know what's going on. Okay. So, as we had kind of alluded to, we have a schedule whereby, we can't have 5 games in a week unless we're in interleague play. So week 1, we have the England Eruptors, obviously based in Nottingham, playing at Glasgow. We have the Cincinnati Slingers at the Utah Grade 8s. We have the Pennsylvania Benjamins, the 10th and final team in the league, playing at the Las Vegas Rockers, and the Zurich Ibex against the Dusseldorf Warriors. So certainly super exciting. I had mentioned on last week's live that I was at the Brahead Arena in Glasgow. Obviously, we were at every arena last week, but really exciting to see this come together. And obviously, again, for our schedule, our nerds of sports, we have 2 teams on bye in week 1. We're going to have some 5-game weeks as I think it's week 5 where they start, but we'll see on the matrix momentarily. But yeah, really excited to see this. And I guess we should do some programming notes. After Corinne and I kind of work our way through the schedule, we're going to be joined by some coaches and officials, GMs around the league. So if you want to hang tight, obviously it's exciting to see the schedule. But we're certainly aware that we want our league to have our teams to have personalities, and we're going to have you guys meet some more people behind the scenes. So while I think a lot of these names are now public through the press conferences, you're going to be starting to meet a lot of these teams. But yeah, excited to kind of have our inaugural week 1 announced. Obviously, our league is headquartered in Vegas, so we thought it appropriate that they have their home game as well there. And Dusseldorf, of course, we're working on that logo, but more on that to come. But Dusseldorf, we thought it appropriate to obviously have a home game as well. Yeah, so that's our week 1.
I love it. Okay, let's get on to week 2.
So week 2, for the most part, these games are going to be played on Saturday. We have a handful of Friday and Sunday games that were available to us. So you'll see it's, week 25, we have one game that's played on a Sunday. But yeah, we have the home games for home game for Arizona, first home game for Stuttgart, first game for Stuttgart, and first game for Arizona. So we gave them a bye in week 1, and we thought it only appropriate to make up, not on the opening weekend. Let's make sure that they have a home game on week 2. But yeah, and you'll see our first Sunday game on that Pennsylvania Benjamins, Utah grade 8s. But we understand there's some baked in rivalries, and I've Corinne, you can stop me at any point. I can talk.
No, I love. No, you're doing. Obviously, you're brilliant. Let's do this. But yeah, brilliant. I'm excited about the rivalries. That's going to be fun.
Tom told me today I was integral. So listen, I'll take all of the compliments. Great. Dusseldorf and Stuttgart is a natural rivalry. It's our 2 teams in Germany, so we're looking forward to seeing that. Get there. And then Cincinnati and Arizona. Those are 2 of the first head coaches that we signed in the league. That's Jason Allen and Sean King. So really excited to see those guys kind of go at it. This league will learn more. And actually, I think I could mention. Can I mention this? Yeah, I can mention this. We have just announced. I won't do it yet. I'll do it later on. We've announced our Dusseldorf head coach is Brandon Moore. We have some baked in rivalries in the league. Brandon Moore comes to us with a decorated coaching background, but he, which I think is really cool, and I want to announce it here. Brandon Moore, and you'll learn about his background at some point, speaks German. The head coach of Stuttgart also speaks German. So we have 2 American coaches that speak German that are playing against each other in week 2. This is a matchup I am super excited about.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. Excellent coaching staffs. So, can you hear me?
I'm here. So we got week 3. I'm doing all the weeks. I got it. I'm on this. Okay.
Yeah, you are. You're doing all the weeks.
Okay. So, where's the music? I expected some like March Madness music. Elijah has a spooky background, but we can't have any music for this. There it is. Okay. So, week 3. Another interesting week. And again, if anybody wants to take screenshots, write this down. I'm sure we'll have it on the website, shortly after this. So we, again, Las Vegas, we talk about our earlier head coaches. Hollywood is our first coach that we signed in the entire league. Hollywood goes way back with Tom Mitchell. And I think Jason Allen was our second head coach. He was second or third, but that's a big one. I've already heard those guys. Hollywood thinks he's won the league already. So I think, yeah, and everyone that watches the live knows Hollywood. I think, truthfully, and I know he's listening to this somewhere, I think Hollywood has a target on his back because he knows Tom. He's been associated with the league for a while. I think he's going on these lives and he's telling everybody that he's going to win the league. There is a target every game that the Rockers are on. I think people have circled that.
Yeah, it's fact. That's
yes.
fact.
And then I'm excited. We have the England Eruptors over, and it's going to be Glasgow's second home game. You'll see when we get to Glasgow and Dusseldorf, I'll have some nuggets to share. But as I kind of alluded to, I think this is our first Friday game. It's Stuttgart versus Zurich is going to be on 5-1, and then Utah grade 8s and the Pennsylvania Benjamins. When you see that, that's indicating we're going on a Sunday game. So yeah, certainly excited to see that. But so far, Corinne, every game in the schedule is an in-division game. No one is traveling across continents at this point.
Right. Okay. So is that going to change in this next week?
No, the week after.
Okay.
Yeah, making sure. So again, the general basis of the schedule, and you guys will see this. We have 2 divisions, right? So we have 5 teams in America, 5 teams overseas, and those teams are going to play each other 10 times. So it's a home and away, which will get us to 8, right? One team is playing all 4 in the division. I don't have the allocation here, but you guys will see it. So if you guys are keeping notes, 2 teams will play an additional, one team will play 2 teams in addition to the home and home. So you'll play 10 games in division, and then those last 2 games are going to be on an interleague basis. And you're not playing the same team necessarily on your interleague. So if we'll get there. We'll get there at some point, but we wanted to make sure we got all these in-division games out of the way before we started interleague. But yeah, Glasgow and Stuttgart, I think is going to be super exciting.
Right.
Coach Philip Garcia, the coach of the Glasgow Tartans, I spent obviously a full day with over in Glasgow. Again, I'm an open book, and I think it's much easier to tell the truth than to lie about things. We recruited Coach Hilson to coach Stuttgart. We were looking for a German-speaking head coach, and I spoke with Coach Hilson. I loved him, and I said, listen, we're still looking to fill Glasgow. We have a lot of names in mind. Do you have anyone in mind now? And he said, well, the current head coach of my team, Coach Garcia, I think would be interested. He loves what you're doing. And I'm like, is it going to be awkward if we don't hire Coach Garcia? Because you guys are on the same staff, and we want to make sure whatever. So those guys in that week 4 matchup, it's going to be Coach Garcia in Glasgow, who I've gotten to know very well, and Coach Hilson, who are on the same staff as of very recently, this past season.
Right. Oh, I love that. That's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of those. We have a lot of those rivalries.
So I think Elijah's telling us he's having some computer issues, so it's all good. What I wanted to kind of lay out, we certainly very excited to do this, and Elijah, obviously, whenever you pop back on, but this is probably a good break in the schedule. We were having a lot of conversations internally, Corinne, like what makes this league unique, and I know this was kind of on our agenda, but like there certainly have been American arena leagues, like, and I don't. Like, we see the comments like, oh, another arena league. Great. Right. Like, if that's what we were doing here and it was just another arena league, trust us, Corinne and I wouldn't be as excited to pop on a live stream every week. What really hasn't been done is this international feel.
That's right.
We'll get back to that. But the point being, this endeavor of this interleague play being inter-country, it's not just Canada and America or like UK and Scotland, like, this is really what makes the league special. The next few, really, I think it's starting in week 6, but we'll get there. So week 16, Arizona, Cincinnati Slingers, Vegas Rockers, Utah Great Eights, Dusseldorf, England Eruptors. So we built in this week is our first. I believe it's next week is the start of interleague play, and I'm happy to be wrong if I have a week off. But we wanted to create a kind of short week. We have 2 teams on bye that week. Because we want the eyeballs to start. We want people to be rested for international travel, but we really want to showcase these inter-country games, which are no league has ever done this. Be it Arena League, like even NFL Europe didn't compete against the NFL. They existed in 2 separate forms. So this is really what makes our league unique.
You know, even the original greats, you know, the Scott Cloman, the Hunky Coopers, the Randy Gatewoods, every one of them said, you know, sign me up. I want to do this again, just because of that fact that it's international. It's what's gotten them so excited, and they're big supporters of the IAL, and arena football is their thing, and they think this is the best thing, coming. So love that.
I totally agree. Remember how I told you last episode, I always read the comments. I'm not reading the comments now because I'm looking at the schedule, but Elijah will give us the good comments that came up after. Okay. I was right. I alluded to this. Week 6 is really the first week of the season where our 2 worlds collide, and we do it on a grand stage. Saturday is the first interleague game in the history of the IAL. That's the Las Vegas Rockers at the England Eruptors that's showcased on a Saturday. Okay. Obviously we have Cincinnati and Pennsylvania normal in division, Zurich, Stuttgart in division. But we tried to space this out in a way that was appropriate. We have that Sunday game as our second ever inter-country game or interleague game in history. That's the Utah Great Eights traveling overseas to Glasgow. So we have the maybe we'll just buy an entire airplane, and because Glasgow, England.
Fine. I think that's a great idea. I love it.
Yeah, we'll save money on travel, but they're playing back-to-back days, so we think that'll be very special. So this continues. Next week we have again continuing rolling interleague play. Las Vegas Rockers with their first international game going over to play Stuttgart. Certainly excited about that, and you see, I'll try to highlight the games that we see them, but it's certainly very cool to see. Glasgow and Dusseldorf. I had alluded to this game, which we talked about a little in the live last week. we have, and I kind of keep track of all the fans that we have in our lives, Corinne. We have a ton of Dusseldorf fans, and I was at that Brahead Arena, which I think is pretty cool. The coaches here, Coach Garcia and Coach Moore, they're like two ships passing in the night. They have coached for the same teams. So there was kind of a nice baked-in rivalry with those guys. So I thought that was a fun one. That's going to be on a Friday night, a showcase game for us. And by and large, like our Monday night footballs or our Thursday night footballs are really going to be the Fridays and the Sundays. Saturday is going to be our main slate.
I like that. That's very cool. I love it.
Okay, we are on week 8 of the season. It looks like from this, it looks like we at least have 1 week of break from and you know, I don't have the list of the buys teams, the teams that are on bye, but normal week we have teams coming back and playing within the division. So that's after they've seen what the market looks like overseas. You know, they go back and face their teams, and certainly we'd be remiss if we didn't point out, Corinne, like you know, we have American arena football and we have overseas football with guys that really haven't played arena. So we're going to tell very quickly in those weeks, you know, weeks, I think it's 6 and 7, what the difference is in the products on the field. It's very possible, as I was talking to Alonzo Barrett, our director of European player personnel, that the European side is going to be more of a kind of high scoring, high octane, fast paced game. And the American game could be more physical just based on, you know, people's history with the sport, but certainly excited to see that. So, yeah, it's all good.
I think the fans are in for, you know, something really special. They love their hockey, right? They love that physical sport, so they're going to go crazy over this, I believe. So
okay, I think we can go to week 9. And I think as a scheduling quirk, Elijah can tell me this, but the team on the right is the home team. So sometimes it says versus, sometimes it says at. I wouldn't read too much into it. The team on the right is considered a home team, and they're all going to be quote unquote home games. So I think it's just a kind of quirk in the schedule. So week 9, I believe this is our first kind of full slate where we have five games going on at the same time. So Utah and Arizona, you know, again, normal Cincinnati, Vegas, Dusseldorf, Stuttgart, you know, England and Glasgow, which I think is going to be certainly an easy rivalry just based on where those teams are. But then we have Zurich making their first trip overseas to play the Pennsylvania Benjamins. So I'm a little biased. I really like that Pennsylvania Benjamins logo.
Right. But you love the Ibex logo.
I do. You do remember.
Yeah. You said you weren't picking favorites, but you love the logo.
This is the battle for the commissioner because I really love both of these logos.
Right.
I am partial. My daughters know I am partial to the color green. So tie goes to green, at least for now. We might have lost Corinne, so I will carry us, Elijah, into week 10. There he is. So week 10, again, I keep spotlighting that Dusseldorf and Glasgow matchup, which I think is going to be really fun. Stuttgart and England Eruptors, again, certainly all public concerning, you know, who's coaching each team at this point. But Coach Talib Wise, if you want to Google and look up Coach Wise over at Nottingham. Yeah, you're back. Coach Wise has been known as the GOAT of arena football. So it'll be certainly exciting to see him, you know, in action against Coach Hilson.
Got a call from one of the coaches and it stopped.
Can you hear me, Corinne? You're all good? I can hear you, so I'm going to keep going, but we can hear you. So the show must go on week 11, which is June 27th. And reminder, the schedule goes until July 25th, playoff start. So we're getting really toward the heart of the season. It's a 15-week season, 12 games spaced out across 15 weeks. So there will be 3 baked-in buys over the course of the year. And again, as I mentioned, it's rolling interleague play. So we really constantly want to test the skill set of each league against one another. So you'll see here, we still have rolling interleague play. Cincinnati takes their one and only trip across the pond to play Stuttgart. and Dusseldorf goes over to face Arizona for their main trip. If you guys want to start booking flights, right, and you guys want to go overseas and see, go see Arizona, that stadium is, it's in Tempe, Arizona. The weather is going to be very hot. I've definitely been there this time of the year, but if that's the purpose of the schedule, to book your flights early, by all means, this is the time to do it. So, but yeah, we're certainly excited to announce that. Okay, July 4th weekend. This one is a fun one. I've had conversations with our friends over in Nottingham and our friends over in Glasgow. And when we were coming up with the schedule, and it's just something that we should think about, right? Like, as much as we're excited about interleague play, there are our friends in Europe. They say we would love to host a game on July 4th in this American league. So we, this kind of fun concept. So the England Eruptors are playing on July 4th against the Dusseldorf Warriors, and then Zurich Ibex over at Glasgow. But this will be a showcase week for us on July 4th. So exciting to announce it, but for purpose of the season, we're really getting towards crunch time. It's week 12 of a 15-week season. So, obviously with buys, most teams will have played, give or take 10 games at this point. So we're really getting towards crunch time. I think there's a handful of teams that have buys in that week 15, but these are the critical games of the season where seasons are won and lost. So, but yeah, I know Nottingham and Glasgow are really excited to get a home game on those dates. So, yeah, certainly excited to announce that. Okay, third to last week of the season. Yep, we have Cincinnati at the Benjamins, Vegas at Utah, Zurich at England, and Stuttgart at Dusseldorf. So we tried to make this work. Like, I think of all the different combinations of teams, the one that's the most obvious rivalry that's just sitting there is Stuttgart and Dusseldorf. So I certainly envision that combination being one of the biggest rivalries in the league. Coach Hilson, Coach Moore, our 10th and final coach to the league. Those guys have a background with each other, and they're currently, I know they're probably watching this somewhere unless they're asleep, but they're currently recruiting the same talent base in Germany. So excited to see what that looks like. But we made it a point to make sure that this was a showcase game in this third to last week of the season. Okay, crunch time, second to last week of the season. We have Cincinnati, and they have, at this point in the season, they have yet to travel abroad. They're traveling to England, and this is going to be a showcase game on a Sunday night. So the league will have already played all of their games. And now we have the first interleague game for Dusseldorf. That's the Pennsylvania Benjamins heading over to Dusseldorf. So I mentioned Pennsylvania Benjamins were the commissioner's favorite logo, kind of tied with Zurich. I know we're working very hard, and maybe you will announce it at some point, but to get submissions for the Dusseldorf logo, maybe that can be the battle for the commissioner's favorite logo. We'll see. But yes, very excited to announce that. And last but not least, week 15 of the season. This will be the final game of the season. We have Cincinnati at Vegas, Zurich at the Utah grade 8. So that will be Zurich's lone trip overseas. Arizona's lone trip overseas. They're going to play Glasgow, and the England Eruptors against the Stuttgart Stallions. So, yeah, that's our schedule. Certainly super excited to announce it. Elijah, go back one slide for me. Did I miss something? There we go. And go back 1 week for me, week 14. And I have children that just went into this room, so you're going to meet Commissioner Lust's kids in a second. Okay. There it is. We are all good. Okay, girls, get off. Okay. I'm going to get off video for a second. Corinne, take it over. Girls, out.
Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, everybody, is we are going to get to meet some of our GMs and head coaches from around the International Arena League, which I know is what you are probably waiting to see and hear from. Once Dan gets back, we'll get them on. Thanks for your patience, guys.
Every once in a while, I'll do one of these media for whatever media outlet, and every once in a while, my kids will try to sneak in. They got in this time. They did it.
They wanted a cameo. I mean, it's understandable. Beautiful little girls.
Yes, they did. I'm not disagreeing that they're beautiful little girls. I was there was some media that someone had put out in the league, and I was showing my oldest. I said, "Look, like they're saying Daddy's name," and she's like, "Does that mean that you're famous?" And I'm like, the bigger this league gets, the more famous Daddy's going to get. So sure,
That's
yes,
right.
technically, sure, why not?
You definitely have a fan base. Okay, so I believe it's time that we're going to bring on our first GM, at least for this show. I believe. Yep.
That's not true.
And so
we had Adrian Ross on.
No, well, for this show, yes. So the GM for Pennsylvania Benjamins is Greg Fornaro. We'll bring him on.
Hello.
What's up, Greg?
Hey, how you been?
I'm good. We lost Corinne, but I can see you.
Okay, because my phone it was playing games, had to like reverse it, so I can't see you. But hey, I'm on, so I'm excited about the league.
So, Coach, I'm going to read this out for you, so you have it. You can't see what's on the screen, right?
No, I cannot.
Okay. So we have a picture of you when you were 5 years old, and it looks like. No, I'm just kidding. So we have the home games listed. So I want to introduce you properly. This is Greg Fornario. He is our newest addition to the league on the GM side. So Greg has a long history in arena football, which I'll let you speak to. And then once give us a little bit of a background on yourself and your role with the team. Those that didn't see the press conference, and then we'll go over the dates that we have on the screen for you.
Yeah, so I'm excited to get my foot back in the door. I was in arena football, as an owner / GM. I used to own the Richmond Rough Riders. Therefore, my first head coach was Hollywood Mook Zimmerman. So me and Mook go way back, and we had a lot of success with each other. We were there. We won a championship, and then we're there for a few years. And then we went to West Virginia, Wheeling, West Virginia, and we were called the West Virginia Rough Riders. There we went 13-0, won a championship. So I know a lot about the back end of the business, and the GM, so pretty successful there with Hollywood, and now we're separate. So we're separated. So it's going to be interesting, especially week one. You guys have us open up against each other. So me and Coach Lee going to go and get on it and get some players to serve him that L. So
you guys, week one, you guys. So I have the schedule in front of me, and I'll show so our fans have it. You in week one, and there was some talks behind the scenes, which listen, no, it's okay. I'm on the record. It's fine. There was some talks about uniting you guys and trying to make it work with you together, but then we thought, it'll be so much more fun if you guys are apart, because Hollywood has a target on his back, which I have alluded to on the show many times. So, you and Coach Johnson over in Pennsylvania, you'll be scheming together at Hollywood at Vegas week one. And what we have on the screen, Greg, and you can't see it, we have the lovely Pennsylvania Benjamins logo on the screen. Again,
great logo.
Great logo. At the Santander Arena, you have 6 home games, and we have this graphic on the screen. Utah Great Eights in week 2, but it's your first home game. And then, as I had alluded to everybody, you were going to play one of your other division mates one additional time at home, and then another one additional time on the road. So you have 2 home games against the Arizona Juggernauts. That's Sunday, May 10th and Sunday, May 30th. So you get to see a lot of Coach Jay Allen, and you have 2 home games against them. So you better go 2 and 3, at least 2 out of 3 against those guys if he gets 2 at home. Coach, what's your familiarity with Coach Jay Allen? Do you have a background with him?
I don't. I heard of him for sure. So, and that's the thing about this league, which I'm so impressed with, is, all coaches got amazing resume. That's amazing, because you don't see that in a lot of leagues, and here, every coach is, has won before. So it's just going to be very, very competitive league. I'm excited to be part of it. I see some players getting picked up, which I know who they are and what they can do. So I'm excited to go to war with everyone.
Coach, I got one for you, and then I'll let you go. We're going to try to introduce people as quick as they can. Two quick ones. You're playing Zurich. That's you guys. That's your interleague game at home. What do you think is going to be the difference of the interleague, the European teams versus the American teams?
What I think the difference is going to be, I guess all depends on the players being recruited and the coaches, which I haven't really seen so many of their signings yet. I know it's like very early in the season for that, but I think they can have I think if they get the right coach down there and players who obviously know the sport and played and won some college levels, and I think they'll be pretty competitive.
Last but not least, Coach, GM Fornario, and then we'll get you out of here. Reading has the lucky golden ticket to go play on the road against Dusseldorf in I think it's a week 14 of the season. So.
Oh wow! Okay, I didn't see that. That's awesome.
Well, it's part of the schedule reveal. Everyone learns it at the same time, but yeah. So listen, you have that ticket. Dusseldorf, I think, is going to be a force behind Coach Moore, and yeah. So you guys have the lucky ticket of playing them. So, Greg, we love having you. People should look up Greg's background. Greg is our first of many hires from an Arena League past that we think are going to bring tremendous value to this league. So, Greg, we love having you here and appreciate you joining the Zoom.
All right, Dan. See you later, man.
Okay. Corinne, we can't hear you. Can't hear you. But the show must go on. So whoever you want to bring on, I'm ready. Pascal.
Hi, Dan.
Pascal, you are a celebrity in this part of the internet.
Okay. Why that?
Can you see everything on the screen right now?
Yeah, I can see everything. Yeah.
Okay, good. This makes my life easier. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, Pascal, I owe you a response to your email, so I haven't forgotten. We've just been busy.
No,
We've been
no
busy
problem.
doing schedule.
I know what's going on right now, so we have all kinds of stuff to do. So everything's fine with me.
So, Pascal, you were our first GM that was hired before our coach was hired. So, Coach Moore is very excited to meet and get to work with you. But Pascal, we wanted to find you a German-speaking head coach for your team. It'll be easier to do everything, sell sponsorships up and down, do media. And as we're looking at the screen here, this shows your 6 home games. So Pascal, what I've been telling people on the Zoom is you'll have one additional home game. So it's a little lopsided against your in division. So Dusseldorf's extra home game happens to be against Glasgow. And I think for I guess like rivalry purposes, I believe, and we'll confirm this in a minute, I believe Stuttgart's extra home game is against Dusseldorf. And I think this is the rivalry that the league is very excited about. So we didn't do you any favors by giving Stuttgart 2 home games against you, but you'll at least have one, and there's no excuse not for winning that one.
I see, but it's a nice city and a nice venue. Hans-Martin Schleierhalle, I knew it from my childhoodness on, because it's, I think, from the year 83 or something like this. You said it already. Two away games against Stuttgart will be fun, let's give us a little bit of playoff atmosphere to see them 3 times in the season. So I'm looking forward to that.
Pascal, you people can look up Pascal online. I promise you'll have Dusseldorf on this live stream. When you were wondering why I was saying you're famous in these parts, we have rabid Dusseldorf fans that are popping in. They want to be involved in the league in every way, shape, or form. So if you want to get involved, locally with the team, obviously you can reach out to the head coach. But Pascal and Greg, who we just had on, those are going to be your main point of contacts for fan engagement in each market. So, Pascal, we're so happy to have you on. The PSD Bank Dome is a tremendous venue for this. I guess Definitely. I'll ask you this, and then we're having all these conversations with coaches across the league. But Dusseldorf has a showcase game against the Benjamins. I believe it's the last interleague game on the schedule. But we just had Greg Fornario on. I'm excited to see what it looks like. You know, the European arena model, which literally has never existed. We're making it up as we go against an American team. So that I think will be the highlight on the schedule. As much as I think that Stuttgart game will be big, I really am looking forward to seeing an American team in that arena.
Definitely. And as I understand it, we have the battle of the logos from the commissioner's side. So that will be fun too. And I tell you what, the guys around here, the Warriors Nation, we already have from the fans. It's fantastic. You have the Michael Klein this week on the live show already. And they are amazing. And I think the Warriors Nation will get us through. And the logo contest we announced yesterday is already speaking every one of them. And it's amazing how many people reached out to me and said, hey, how do we participate? What can we do? Are there any restrictions and so on? That's really, really fun to see. Yeah, that's really great.
It's definitely contagious. And so we respect to Dusseldorf, reach out to Pascal. Pascal, we're trying to get every coach in, every official in like minute or so. Final last words that you want to say to the fans and the supporters of Dusseldorf that are on here?
Yeah, I think it will be a great thing of what we can build together, all together right now. And I really appreciate that we go for the fans and really want to win the fans too, not just with the possibility to win tickets from the champion for the next season, but I think to engage them and to be part of our community, that will be really, really fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, we're happy to have you, Pascal. Thank you for joining us. I know it's late over there. Much appreciated.
Yeah, no problem with that.
Okay, bring him in. Corinne, volume, not working. Corinne, we cannot hear you. Nope. Listen, I'm happy. I got this. So,
I'm here. What up? What up? How y'all doing?
So have you been on the Zoom before?
I was on the Zoom earlier. This one, yeah, with Hollywood and Corinne.
Okay, good. Zoe, you, I think, are one of the most important hires we've had to league, obviously among many. I'm gonna put this on your back, and we had about 5 minutes here, so I'll be as quick as possible. I need to, as the kids say, we need to glaze you up, and we'll put all the pressure on your shoulders. What makes our league really special, again, is this European element of it, and we are introducing not just to the fans of Europe arena football, a lot of players, and we felt it important through the process, right? You kind of learn what you need as you go about, and I'm saying if we need to find the right players for these squads, we need to find players that have played American football overseas, and we can teach them the game. It's a lot easier. So during the process, through our lovely Corinne, who is for some reason having technical issues, but we found you, Alonso, and you, I'd love, because we have a lot of new people in this, but I'd love you to speak about your camps and how you've gone about as our European Director of Player Personnel, identifying talent and helping put them on the right European squads.
Yeah, so this league in general is kind of like a full circle moment for a lot of reasons, a lot of people. So back in 2017, we were doing regional camps in every country, every city, just trying to do it. And then we decided to centralize everything. So we ended up having the biggest camp in history with kids over 26 countries in attendance. And that's when I met Corinne. She had came in to, head up the cheerleading department and dance. And then, what's funny is a lot of these kids, I know at least about 4 or 5 of the campers now are, professional players, and we've just signed them to contracts. So we have one more assistant coach who attended that camp that will probably be coaching one of the teams. Actually, and we have a quarterback from that camp that's probably going to sign as well. And once we reveal that name, I think a lot of coaches are going to have to raise their eyebrows and realize we got more talent over here, and we can get guys who have been, playing at a high level over here for quite some time.
So I'm in the interest of time, I'm going to cut you off because we have a rotating cast of characters, which perfect. I'm impressed with what's going on behind the scenes here. So on the screen, Zoe, can you see what we have up here?
Yep.
So I'll talk about Glasgow, and I want you we'll talk about the fun part of the schedule. But Glasgow is going to be an interesting spot, right? Of all the markets that we have, be it Switzerland, England, Germany, there is less of a American football presence in Glasgow of all the markets. But I will tell you that as someone that was there and went to the press conference, that means that the ceiling's higher. You're not competing against traditional football. So I'm really excited to see the Glasgow market. And if you look at what we have on the screen, we thought it only appropriate, naturally, just jurisdictionally or geographically, England Eruptors seem to be their most natural rival. So we have them playing twice, and then we have them playing hosting the Arizona Juggernauts late in the season. I think that's the last week of the season. Zoe, any comments?
I really like
Glasgow.
That,
I know we lost the
day, Glasgow, England. That's going to be a really, really electric game. Just the natural rivalry they have there, and the Nottingham community is very unique in what they have. So they're going to be a very strong fan base. I definitely believe they're going to be showing up and showing out. I think Glasgow has the same potential as well to have just that real niche core fan base that Nottingham is going to be providing. So I'm really excited about that opening day one. I think we're going to have a lot of flags in the stadium.
Okay. Again, staying on time, we have you covering both Glasgow and Stuttgart. And so I'm gonna again hype you up. We needed to find coaches that knew how to recruit in addition to finding players. So Alonzo, we had asked you, I said, I need German speaking coaches that know how to recruit. And you go, Dan, I got like 20 of them. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't need 20. I need the best ones. So Coach Keith Hilson is the coach of Stuttgart. And I have alluded on this that I think the most natural rivals overseas are going to be Dusseldorf. So we gave them 2 home games against Dusseldorf. Coach Hilson and Coach Moore have a history together. That's the coach at Dusseldorf. In Stuttgart, in the week 2, it's Glasgow. Obviously, I had referenced Coach Hilson being on the same staff as Coach Garcia. I am so excited to see all of your boys finding each other. They're already competing for players, and I'd love to see it on the field. It's super exciting. Coach, can you speak to the Stuttgart market? And we have a lot of German-speaking fans on here that are excited to hear what you have to say about this market.
What's really unique is, you would kind of think that Stuttgart and Dusseldorf being so close, they would really have to compete for players. But those are actually really strong independent markets in themselves. So we have a lot of good players from both local markets that will really just represent. These are probably our strongest local markets. So I think you're going to just see a lot of Dusseldorf guys and a lot of Stuttgart guys on these squads battling it out. Probably see a couple of Frankfurt splitting with that. But that's a really great place to be as a coach in recruiting. Germany has done a really good job with developing the game of football as well. So I'm really excited about it, actually.
So I'm going to say this. Can I ask, are you wearing a suit? Are you wearing a tie?
Just a shirt. I wanted to be, it's release day,
It's a good day. It's a holiday, national holiday. Hey, international holiday. So I'll say this as Zoe, we just gotta be tight on time. But if you are a player, you are a coach, and you have an interest in being involved in our European side, Zoe is the guy to reach out to. You can find him. You want to give your socials? How's the way you want to do this?
What is it? _Pharaoh.
Just Google him. You'll find him.
Yeah, just Google me.
But I'm excited to have, as much as this is, everyone's excited for us to bring American football overseas. Zoe is the perfect, perfect guy to do this. He's running camps, he's teaching guys. So that's why it's a holiday for you. And I can tell that you're super passionate about it and love to have you. So I would have you on all day because I think you're a super interesting guy, but the show must go on, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a good one.
This is going to be where Corinne pops on, and her audio is
all right. Can you hear me?
Working.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
The problem is you can't hear me, apparently.
Can you hear me?
Elijah, send her out. I'll cover. I'll send her out. We got him. Coach Wise.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
We got to put up the graphic, Elijah. We got to put up the Coach Wise graphic. So listen, I'm a professional filibusterer, okay, as you learned earlier on our coaches call today.
Yes, sir.
Coach, when we were recruiting you to the league, you'd be surprised when we started. You don't know how many calls I made about you, but I'd say, "What are your thoughts on Talib Wise?" And they would say, "He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT of European football." And then I'm like, "What team should we put him on?" Do you see how appropriate this logo is for you?
Oh, it is. It's so fitting. I couldn't have dreamed of it better.
And you're not denying these GOAT allegations. You feel that these are appropriate.
Well, I am a little modest, but I have some great teams out there. I was blessed to win 6 championships in 6 years over there.
Well, Coach, because we have a lot of fans meeting you for the first time that maybe didn't see the press conference. We have maybe 5-ish minutes. I'd love, and you're our first coach to come on to this. When we were trying to staff out Europe, we needed a coach that's been there, had success across in any version of football. So I'd love for you to speak to 6 championships is impressive, but we have a bunch of European fans that don't know maybe the legend of Talib Wise. So what makes you so confident that you can take that success in these other leagues and bring it to something that's never been done before?
Well, I appreciate you having me on, Dan. And one of the things I believe in the European model of, first of all, they love the game of football. I learned that in my first year there. And I've seen guys come over there, play top D1, been in NFL camps, and they've been sent home because a European guy embarrassed them just because they've taken them lightly. And that's the mentality a lot of these European teams have where, yeah, we may not be American, but we can play just as good as, if we have the right teaching and coaching. And that is what I want to bring to Europe is my experience as a player and as a coach of knowing the locals and knowing how good they are and believing in their abilities.
So super exciting. And what I was kind of alluding to, we have a lot of coaches. I think with the exception of Coach Hunt, you have some commonality with all of the other coaches. And Coach Hunt's obviously the coach over at Nottingham for England. But on your schedule, you can see there are 2 home games against Stuttgart. As I was doing my research on you, Coach Hilson had great things to say about you. Coach Garcia, obviously Coach Moore, all of them called you the GOAT. But you get to have 2 showcase games against Stuttgart.
Yes.
So love to hear about your background with Coach Hilson and this group of Americans overseas that has been killing the European football scene.
Yeah, during my time in Germany and Dresden and Berlin, we had a chance to play with the South a lot, go down there to Stuttgart, and they have some great fans and teams down there. And I was able to put up some numbers against those guys. So I guess that the GOAT is fitting. So I appreciate them calling me that. I'm definitely honored by that. But no, it's some good competition over there. That's why I stayed as long as I did. I was surprised myself. We all brought up with the idea of America's, top tier, which we are, but they can ball overseas too now. NCAA guys are coming overseas every year. NFL guys are being drafted as well. So the world is catching up, as I always say.
So you're the only coach that I spoke to who I think you had the first time you and I spoke, you had just gotten back to Chicago only to get the job offer to go back, and you're like, Dan, I'm basically living over there anyway. So you're gonna be a very big ambassador for the league, and super excited to have you on board. And I'll say this, Coach Hollywood, who you got to meet on the Zoom today, he's got a target on his back, but there is a growing whispers in the league that Saya Burley has a big reputation. So you have a spotlight game the last week of the season hosting Saya's Utah Grade 8. So, that's it's going to be exciting. So again, schedule release day, your kind of baked in rival is going to be, to some extent Stuttgart because you're hosting 2 games, but you're the GOAT, so you don't have any rivals. So you're like MJ. MJ had no rivals. It's fine.
I appreciate that, Dan. I'm really excited. Actually, back in the day, me and Cy were teammates way back when I played with the Arizona Rattlers. So it's very fitting that everything's kind of come full circle. So I'm excited. Those are some great coaches you guys have picked. And this is something that I've dreamt of, but I never thought it would come true. But I'm very happy.
Listen, your lips to God's ears. It's very exciting, and we're excited to have you a part of it.
Thank you, sir. And I look forward to working with you.
All good, Coach. We'll see you. Appreciate you. Corinne's audio is.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me this time?
You cannot hear me. Elijah, get rid of her.
I don't know.
She's gone.
I don't know.
Let her. Kick her. Boot her. She's gone. Later. Listen, they're going to have to start paying me double the salary for director of fan engagement and commissioner of the league. It's all good. Hopefully this is entertaining. Coach Ross, he's laughing. He likes it. Coach, you're on mute. This one I know how to fix. I know how to fix that.
Got that. What's up, Dan?
Oh, we got both of you guys.
This one I know how to fix.
Got that.
I think we have an audio issue. Someone's got. I think we figured. I think it was Coach King. Coach Ross, Coach King. It's the first time we're having both the GM and coach combo. I will give it to both of you. Tell me what you think of the schedule. It looks like you got a baked-in rivalry with Saya Burley. You have 2 home games over there, and yeah, you have the schedule up on the screen. So whoever wants to take it first, GM Ross, Coach King, the floor is yours. You have the schedule up the screen, so whoever wants to take it first.
Hey, Sean, turn
Coach
the
King,
feed
I
off.
think you're having.
Turn the feed off on your phone.
Turn the feed off?
Yeah,
We're gonna mute
turn the
Coach
live
King.
off.
We're gonna mute Coach King and Coach Ross. I will let you take the first one.
All right, yeah, I'm just sitting there peeping it out. All right, Arizona.
Well,
Utah,
Coach.
okay.
Oh, Coach Ross, you haven't seen this. This is your live schedule release.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
Coach Ross, GM Ross. Now I have a question here. Okay, there is, and I alluded to this. The first 3 coaches that we signed to the league, and Coach King knows this, are really Coach King, Coach Allen over in Phoenix, and Hollywood was like the first coach signed for like a month. I think if you're trying to figure out who should be and I'm putting this in quotes, the favorite, one of the first 3 coaches signed should have had the leg up, recruiting, right, and figuring this out. If we're placing like the Vegas odds on the Cincinnati Slingers, do we give you guys like a top 3 odds to win the Northeast Division or the North American Division?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, without a doubt. You know, I think that like we'd be the favorites. You know, me, Sean, obviously, you know, he has the expertise there. You know, the location we're at, the fan base, you know, I think the odds are with us.
Now, Coach King, do we fix your tech issues?
Are we good? Can you hear me?
We are golden. You know what's funny? The director of fan engagement, we cannot get her tech figured out. Coach Ross, you're good. Coach King, you just took 1 second, little reset, turn the phone up, open it. We're good.
Absolutely.
Listen, Corinne's a different story, but Coach King, we're excited to have you on. The way that we've set this up, and obviously we were talking about on the Zoom earlier today, we have 10 games against the American division, and then you have kind of not a home and home with the European team, but we've kind of mixed and matched it. So your home game is against England. And I'm excited for that. England might be a force to be reckoned with overseas. And I know Talib Wise was just on. He's the GOAT of European football. But Coach Hunt is the only coach with significant American arena coaching experiences on that England team. So, you know, you don't have an easy matchup in that last week of the season, which, you know, for all intents and purposes might decide the season. So your thoughts on going to England, saving that international week for really at the end of the year? It's one of the few teams that has that.
I mean, the way things are going to roll out, we just got to be ready for whoever, whenever. You know what I mean? I mean, we can't make going on a trip an excuse, and everybody's going to take a trip and do what they got to do. So we're just going to prepare for all the games the same way as if they are the biggest game, and then trying to go 1-0 each week.
I think that's fair, but I expected a coach to say that. It was a very Derek Jeter-esque response, very Bill Belichick. We're on to Cincinnati. You get 2 home games, Coach King or Adrian, whoever wants to handle it. Saya Burley's Utah Grade 8s, you have 2 games against them. You get Hollywood, who again, he's got the big X on his back. But I think the schedule's super fun. I mean, you guys, you have the floor. Tell us whatever you want to hear that Cincinnati Slingers fans should hear. But yeah, I think the schedule speaks for itself. But I'll whoever wants to have the last word, maybe Coach King will have you go first, and then Adrian will let you have the final word.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to battling Coach Burley. I mean, we go back, like you said, 25 years when we were both rookies in the Arena League playing against each other. So, you know, I'm expecting, you know, some good high-quality games there. And then, you know, obviously Coach Hollywood has his thing going out there in Vegas. So we're looking forward to, that matchup as well. So, I mean, but we're just, with everything going on with the league, with the positive things and the ways that everything's going, we're just looking forward to putting a good product out there and making the fans of this league, proud of the whole league, not just us.
Okay, Adrian, and then I'll give you some words from our great Tom Mitchell. But Adrian, go ahead.
Yeah, all I was gonna say was that just like how Sean said, I mean, for me, it's managing the trip. I just know I think back to my days of when playing for the Bengals, if we had a West Coast trip, playing at Colorado State when we had to go over to Honolulu, and what the guys are doing to get there. So along with Coach, me, is managing the trip. So we already know that we're gonna have the talent, and it's just about making sure that we control the trip and make sure that they're at their highest performance.
Okay, so I'll say this from Tom, and then I'll get you guys out of here because we have an assembly line, and I, it is what it is. I could have you guys all day. You guys were the first GM coach pairing that we established in the league. So the first time that we found a coach and a GM, and we're obviously making our way through hiring the other GMs. Tom has made significant trips to Cincinnati. So I think if Tom was on this, he would be very disappointed if the Cincinnati Slingers were not considered to be a favorite. So I know we're joking about the target on this one's back, this one's back. Tom Mitchell has invested very heavily in Cincinnati. So listen, if we say on to Cincinnati, you guys, you're Cincinnati. Okay. So, target's on your back as well, but appreciate having you both on. Coach King, I appreciated the text earlier, and it's good to have all the coaches together in the Zoom, but fantastic stuff, guys. And we appreciate you both joining.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks for having us, Dan.
You got it. See, when they hired me for this role, they didn't know. They didn't know I was an MC. Corinne.
We're giving this one more shot.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I think you're lying. Can you actually hear me?
Yes, I really can. I can. Can you hear me?
How many fingers am I holding up?
Well, now that's my eyes, but 2. I see 2.
I'm going to believe it. Okay.
I call that last group the dynamic duo, right? So, all right, the next person up is our head coach for the England Eruptors, which is Jeff Hunt.
Where is he? There he is. What's funny is first of all, Coach Hunt, you got the tie on. You listen, I'm very excited to have you on. Can you hear me, Coach? Coach, you cannot hear me, can you? Okay. I think we need to send Coach out and slide Corinne back in.
All right, well, here I am.
Well, Elijah is working on Coach Hunt. Elijah, you'll text me when Coach Hunt is ready. I am going to talk up Coach Hunt. So, listen, we had these press conferences, and Coach Hunt, we couldn't get him overseas for the England one. So we I think Alonzo went down there. We had an influencer down there. Coach Hunt, I'm excited. And just for our fans of the league, if you want to just storylines to follow, Coach Hunt is the only American coach that's going to be overseas. Everybody else, I guess we can say Talib is American, this one's American, but I mean, guys that don't have a history coaching in Europe, they have a history coaching arena. So when Tom and I were kind of figuring out how we should set this up, we were trying to create the perfect coach, right? That, understood arena, we want to bring them over, but they need to be able to recruit in Europe. And Tom and I kind of found a happy medium in the coaches that we got. But Coach Hunt has a leg up on the other coaches to the extent that he has more arena coaching experience. But in the same sense, Coach Hunt has somewhat of a difficult task because he has not recruited in England. So, but Coach Hunt, who will join us technology permitting, and again, Elijah, throw him in at any point. But he is very enthusiastic about this role. So I'm excited for this experiment. And this was Tom's thought, that arena coaches would in theory have a better chance at success. So all the other coaches in England are ready to prove him wrong. And I think Coach Hunt is excited to, really kind of, establish for American arena coaches that you can win in any format. So that's a really exciting storyline to follow.
That is fun.
What's funny is these tech issues. I know we're live, and listen, you guys maybe know this. I host a podcast called Conduct Detrimental. It's a sports law podcast. So I've been getting the reps in on any tech issues for the last 5 years, and I'm a professor of sports law at a number of schools. So when I don't get any crowd participation from my students, I can talk for the entire class. I can talk for the full 2 hours. So when tech issues pop up, I'm ready to solve them. Coach Hunt, do we have you?
I'm on.
Did you hear me waxing poetically about how you have some challenges for this league? Did you hear me saying anything good or bad about you?
I didn't hear any bad, but I know there's going to be a lot of competition.
You cut out on the last thing you said. Hopefully, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay, good. No, this is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. Nothing bad, obviously. Coach Hunt, whether you knew this or not, Tom's original goal for the European division was to have all American coaches with heavy arena experience basically learn how to recruit in Europe and have kind of heavy number twos that have coached overseas. And we had this kind of back and forth. And I said, yeah, there are some people that are going to be the right personality to recruit. And granted, yes, it might be helpful that they've coached arena, but maybe it's helpful to recruit. So Coach Hunt, you are the only coach that we are bringing overseas that we felt that you had all the right personality traits to thrive. But our COO, Tom Mitchell, he's kind of pegging you. He said, Jeff Hunt, he's going to dominate because he has significant arena coaching experience. And it's not going to matter necessarily as much the ability to recruit because he's going to coach up all of his players. Coach, I don't mean to set the bar too high, but thoughts on the conversation we've had internally on that point.
Well, let me say this. First, I want to.
We lost you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. For some reason, every time I think you're touching. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, don't move. Don't move. Stay right exactly there.
Okay. Now, first, I want to thank the IAL. Thank God.
I think the audio is not working. I was going to pretend it's working. It's not.
It's not working? Okay.
It is sometimes. That is so weird. It's coming in and out.
Okay. How about now?
It's good, but I think if you move a fraction, it turns off. So you got to stay like almost like Medusa looked at you and turned you into stone.
And just turn me into stone. Okay.
Okay.
Like I say, just learning from a lot of coaches, working, on their expertise, learning from ball players. Like I said, Cy Burley,
Coach, I hate to tell you, you're cutting in and out. So I'll make it's so weird. For some reason, I can't understand what's happening. I think we're being attacked by hackers because we have all these tech issues, but it's fantastic. The show must go on. They know not to attack the commissioner. They know to not do anything to me because my audio feed seems perfect. Yeah. So, Coach Hunt, on the schedule, you've kind of have a, we talked about in the Zoom beforehand. We thought it was a natural kind of rivalry, right? With just geographically with Zurich, with Glasgow, it's just a different market. But I'm excited, Coach, for you to kind of have. I know I'm joking that everyone has their own kind of storylines. The guy with the real target on his back, especially for this audience, this is the live audience that tunes in each and every week. Coach Hollywood, Tom Mitchell gave him the gold treatment. He gets to come on every Thursday and speak about his team, how he's already counting his championships. You get to face the Rockers. You get to host the Rockers in the May 23rd game. What do you? I mean, I guess I'll ask you this kind of generally, and then we can figure out where it goes. But do you sense that the American teams are going to have this advantage, be it the Vegas or Utah, the same advantage that these coaches seem to think, or do you think that's being overblown?
I mean, to just elaborate on it, I just.
We're losing you. Oh, go ahead. I would tell you, I can't hear you. For some reason, this is the weirdest thing. Every time you say you can't hear me, I can hear you perfectly. But I'm not messing with you. I promise. I wish I wasn't.
Okay.
Maybe don't. Yeah, don't touch it. I think we'll get there. Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm saying the talent level.
I can't hear you. Okay, so listen, let me say this because I want to make sure, Coach. We'll obviously bring you back on another day to do it. For some reason, it's not working. But I want to be able to say this, and then we'll, just for tech purposes, I want to keep it tight because who knows the next issue we have. But you and I had a conversation as we were bringing you on. You were one of the first coaches we identified that we wanted to have as on the European side.
Yes.
And without saying it, when we gave you the option of which market you wanted, we kind of gave you kind of a blank palette.
Right.
Amongst the English speaking teams. And you said, Dan, I really want Nottingham. That's what I want.
Yes.
So I want our Nottingham fans to know, Coach, that you identified, you thought that you could have the best level of success
Yes.
in that market. Do you care to speak to that? And I'm crossing my fingers that we can have no issues on this one.
Again, I know all markets.
I think we're being hacked. I think Corinne is playing a joke on us.
Well, I'm gonna say this real.
Can't hear.
Hear me?
I don't know what's happening. It's like every 10 seconds it cuts in and out. But
Yep.
Coach, how about this? I know it can avoid any tech issues with sound. Okay.
Yeah.
Coach, you have 12 games on the season. How many wins do you think you're going to have?
I'm gonna try to win all of them, but I'm gonna take one game at a time.
That worked perfectly. Okay, let's end on a high note. Coach, we're ecstatic to have you as part of the league. And all systems go. Thank you very much, Coach. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but the
That's
show must
okay.
go on. It's all good.
Thank you for having me.
You got it.
Man, we're getting through this, Dan. We're
Are
getting
you doing
through
this? Are you doing this, Corinne?
I swear that I'm
Are
not.
you sabotaging?
I
This is
swear.
what's happening. This is what's
I'm like,
happening.
you know what happens is when you're about to do something great and amazing, you always get that test,
Sure.
and that's okay. I welcome these challenges, right?
That's what the hacker would say.
Right.
Okay? What's happening is you're getting upset that Elijah has decided to slide you out, and they slide someone new in, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna bomb Jeff Hunt every 10 seconds that he speaks, but it's only gonna be when you say, "Can you hear me?" Okay, we're
I
all
know.
good.
Well, we'll have Jeff Hunt on for a personal interview. He's got a lot to say, okay? But look, I'm excited for the Arizona Juggernauts, for this head coach, Jay Allen.
Guys, can you hear me? You hear me?
Coach, can you hear me?
Damn, my man, what's going on, buddy? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Coach, I can hear you, I can see you, but you'd be surprised. You would think signing on to a Zoom should be very easy, and we should be able to hear people, should be able to see back.
I mean, little difficulties here. You know, that's that.
But here's the thing. If we are judging success by the ability to sign on to a video Zoom and to have this conversation, Coach, you have a leg up on a lot of the competition here.
I'm already ahead of the game.
Ahead of the game, but can I see what shirt you're wearing right now? What do you have on right now? The Arizona Juggernauts, is that officially licensed merch or is that unlicensed merch?
That's whatever you need it to be right now while we're on this call, Dan. I know you're the lawyer.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So,
Yeah.
listen, we set you up, Coach, and a little birdie told me that you might be the first to have entirely filled out your roster. Can that be confirmed or denied?
I mean, I can confirm that I got a good group of guys right now. Whether they've 100% signed or contracts out, we could play football tomorrow if we needed to. I'm just say that much.
You have a full slate of contracts out waiting to be signed. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair to say, Dan.
Okay. So you and I had our first call, I think it was like right around Christmas. So basically a month ago, we were talking about it. So Coach, we had Alonzo on before, Barrett, and I think, Coach, you bring a really interesting skill set as someone that, has a lot of players passing through. You have a lot of exposure through your social media accounts. So, we love to have you as part of the league, and we wanted to create, as I mentioned, it's 10 games against your division, 2 overseas. We'll talk about the schedule in a minute, but as we this was a labor of love. It took a long time to put the schedule together. I said, who do I think has the I almost said a bad word, but I didn't say it. Who has the moxie to go up against Coach Hollywood, who has the most personalities coming on these things? And I said, Jay Allen, our fans haven't met him yet, but I think he can go toe to toe with Hollywood. And seeing you guys on the sidelines, I'm excited. So Hollywood's got to come into your neck of the woods. He's got the biggest target on his back. So you get him to your first home game and your last home game. Tell me. So can you see the schedule on the screen? Can you see this?
Yeah, no, I see it on my screen right here. I have it pulled
good.
up. I see it on your screen as well. Yeah.
Coach, tell us, just because it's a lot of these people, a lot of our fans first time seeing you. Tell us, what you bring to the league as a coach, as a pseudo influencer, as a marketer. I think you bring a lot to the table, and that Mullet Arena, where the Sun Devils play, is going to be a fantastic venue for you. So the floor is yours. I'd love for you to tell people about what they can expect from Coach Jay Allen.
Well, I definitely appreciate that, Dan. And first and foremost, what's up, Juggernaut Nation? Definitely want to say thank you to the IAL, give me an opportunity, be a head coach in this league. I'm real stoked, real excited about the league just based on what they got going behind the scenes. It's very different from the other leagues and just in the structure and, the layout and the platform. You guys did an excellent job behind the scenes and just doing your research and your homework just to try to find out and identify what makes these arena teams go and not go. So that's one of the things I'm just excited about, a new league, a new opportunity, the integration with the overseas as well. And then another thing, it's in my backyard, baby. So if you know me, I've been out here in the Valley for many moons coaching with the youth organizations, with the, colleges, specialty trainer, coach, mentor, whatever the case may be. I've been that in the Valley of Arizona and Phoenix, nationally as well. You mentioned with the YouTube thing. So just be able to come home and coach my own backyard, compete with some of these other brands and these other leagues is just an awesome thing. What people won't, a lot of people who know me personally, I don't do too much bragging or harping, but I did play football and I played 9 years in the Arena League, from AF1 all the way to the IFLs, to the UIFLs, to the AIF, to the CIF, and you know how that goes down. So I've played in all the leagues. So to be able to see the structure and the build out and the game plan that you guys have set in place is a pretty cool thing. That's another reason why I jumped on board. Expectations for me, by the grace of God, I have been a specialty trainer. I have been able to travel abroad for many moons, run a lot of organizations. I expect to bring some good talent in right off the bat. I expect to bring some guys in that's ready to compete right off the bat. If you know me, if you know Coach Jay Allen in the Valley, you know Coach OTB, I got a lot of good energy, a lot of passion. If you see me around my house or just outside of football, you'd be like, that can't be that guy from TV, or that can't be that guy from those sidelines, because I'm more laid back. But when it comes to this football, when it comes to this game, this arena game, a fan-based game, expect a lot of energy, man. So expect energy from the coach, but at the same time, I'm infectious, so that's going to appear out of my guys. I want a bunch of infectious guys that's ready to compete, hard-nosed. Offensive style, we want to be fast, high-flying, physical, explosive. We can score on first or second down anytime. Anytime that guy touches the ball, he might score. Anytime he set back and hike the ball, we might score. Defense, we want to be smart, physical, fast, high-flying. It's 8 guys on the field. After every play, you're going to get 6 guys rolling off of you because we just gang tackled you. It was a party at the ball. We got over there and turned up. So that's my mindset. We want to compete for year one.
In the interest of time, I got to warn you of one thing, and then we have, I think we have our next guest waiting. June 27th, you get a short turnaround. The schedule we have on the screen, you play the Benjamins at home on a Sunday night showcase game, and then get your one and only time you're hosting an international team from the other side. That's the Dusseldorf Warriors. And if I'm putting a target on Hollywood's back, I'm definitely putting a target on Coach Moore and the Warriors' back. We have a very vocal fan base that's developed in Dusseldorf. And if any fans want to call out the commissioner for spotting it out, and you're not from Dusseldorf, by all means, join these Zooms and tell me that I'm not shouting at your market. There's not enough hate for the commissioner because I'm too nice. But if somebody, listen, I'm shouting at Dusseldorf over and over because their fans show up. I am warning you, you're going to get a handful. I don't want to say handful. You might get a ton of Dusseldorf fans that are flying over to heckle you. So I'm saying that as the commissioner, I'm going to get some hate at some point. Someone's going to yell at me. But Coach Allen, I sense you're going to get some not so pleasant German words thrown at you. So you might want to study up on your German slang, so you know if they're insulting you. So just getting ready.
Fun fact, I'm a military brat. So the first couple of years of my adolescent life, we was over there living in Germany and Fishball, actually. So I'm ready. I'm ready for it to go back, and I'm ready for them to come over. But yeah, shout out to my guy Hollywood, man. It's gonna be fun, man. Shout out to all the coaches in the league. Plenty gratitude and respect for those guys as well, man. Some big names, Ty Burley, Sean King. So just to be aligned and adjacent with some of those coaches, man. Shout out to them. But we coming to play football, Dan. You know my energy. It's a real thing. Arizona, we're out here. We'll do a tryout soon. Set the kickoff camp in March. But yeah, we outside, man. We here.
All good, Coach. We appreciate you joining us. We'll get you out of here.
All right. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Now, in this wonderful carousel, I have no idea who's coming on next, but
Dan, you know what? What an exciting hire for the IAL. Head coach for the Utah Great Eights, Saya Burley.
My man,
How's it going?
you better not be streaming and driving. As your lawyer, I'll tell you it's illegal.
I'm pulled over.
Listen, last but certainly not least, I think maybe we have Hollywood as the closer. But Saya, you're a great hire for this league. You have connectivity to both of our guys in America as well as in Europe. Talib Wise was on here talking about you and your history together playing for the Rattlers way back when. So when we were trying to isolate coaches, I know you and I, I'll pull the curtain back. You said, Dan, I'd love to be in this league, but how did you guys get my number? How did you find me? Coach, we wanted you. We thought you were a really essential part of this league. So as much as our fans haven't had you, we haven't had you on these lives yet. You just look no further, and I'm not gonna glaze you up too much. But we're really excited to have you as part of this league. We have the schedule on the screen here, and I'd love, Coach, if you could just tell us about your background and the kind of the players you're looking to recruit and the legacy you're looking to leave here, because you've played in a lot of arena leagues, and we're certainly excited to have all that experience over here with us.
Yeah, I have. Speaking about Utah, that's one of the places I had some of the greatest success in. So to get an opportunity to go back to Salt Lake was one of my favorite places. We had the historic season with 2,000 yards receiving in a season. Had great success with Joe Germain and Danny White and some of the arena greats. Always remember the fan base and how exciting it was, and the atmosphere in Salt Lake and the community support we had. So I jumped on the opportunity to go back to Salt Lake and create something special like we had going on. But as far as what I expect to bring to the table in Salt Lake is similar. A high octane offense and high scoring, which to get the community excited about. So I'm recruiting as we speak. I just got hired a few weeks ago, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. So the ground is, fresh for me with the recruiting trail, but a lot of great interest from players, high caliber players. So the type of guys that I'm looking for are guys that, have experience or played at a high level in college, so I expect nothing but high caliber rookies and high caliber arena football experienced players. So we can hit the ground running and get off to a good start.
Coach, I'll tell you this, and then I'll let you have the last word. We I'm sure we sent you the schedule earlier today as Tom and I were finalizing it. We said, what would be a really exciting way to end your season, and as well as to end one of the coaches will talk about. But your last game of the season is an interleague game, traveling across the pond to play at Zurich at Talib Wise. So, in the Zurich Ibex. So that's your one away road game you're going to play to leave. So maybe you guys can do a little dinner beforehand. Hopefully he doesn't poison you, before the game. But, we understood that will be a great rivalry. You guys go way, way back.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about the international play itself. I haven't been to Europe, and a lot of the guys I talk to are excited about the opportunity to go over there and play. And, you think about the Patriarch with playing different countries. It's exciting. It's something new and it's something fresh for the fans to get excited about. We gain a new fan base overseas, which I think is exciting as well. So, I think what we got going on in this league and the platform that we've put together as a league, I think it's awesome. I think it's different. And I think that, the fans are going to be able to gravitate to something special that's different from what they see already. So, looking forward to, connecting and competing against all these coaches. A lot of good names, a lot of good competitive coaches that I know around arena football, period. So it's going to be an exciting season for sure.
Coach, we appreciate having you. Drive safely. We'll get you out of here, my man. Appreciate you.
Thanks a lot.
And all I can say, Dan, to this group, this next duo, is look out Las Vegas, because the Rockers have head coach Mook Zimmerman, Coach Hollywood, and GM Mark McMillan.
You guys are next to each other?
You know how we doing in Vegas, man. You know how we doing it in Vegas, man.
Why did we save the best setup for last? I've been dealing with tech issues from this side of the country to this side, and now I have you guys in the same room. This is incredible.
They say save the best for last. Here we are in beautiful Las Vegas.
I got to say this. The Vegas people are saying the logo is incredible. I was talking to Coach King and Adrian Russ. I said, you guys were the first GM coach pairing that we had signed. The second GM coach pairing signed is right here in Las Vegas. Coach Hollywood, obviously the first coach in the league. And, Mark, you went, and I remember this. I remember where I was. You kind of gave us, hey, I'd love to be in the league somehow. You and I spoke the next day, and I told Tom, I think Mark's actually serious that he wants to join the league. So you're the first live guest that has turned into an official for our league. So Mark, welcome officially to the other side of the aisle. Welcome officially to the IAL.
Well, I appreciate that, Dan, man. You've been so kind, and I know you guys have been throwing a lot of targets out there on my guy Hollywood, man. I gotta protect my head coach, man. You gotta put the target on his back, but
he did it to himself.
Excited to be here, man.
Hollywood did it to himself. I mean, listen, I've been watching these Zooms, okay? And Hollywood's Tom's guy. He's coming, and someone has to have the target. Someone has to wear it. And the guy that calls himself Hollywood, he also calls himself Mook. He's got 2 nicknames. He's got 1 first name. He's like Cher. He's the guy that has to wear the target. And I think if he comes away, with the championship here, I think, there was one person that was predicting it since day one, and he's sitting right next to you, Mark.
Well, absolutely, right? That's always the standard, right? That's always the expectation. And then understanding being Tom's guy, right? Being the CEO's guy, I think it's only right that I carry the torch, right? And I will carry the target with pride. Absolutely. Coming to Vegas is going to be a very, very difficult place to play. And that's from the top to the bottom. Everything has been great. My man, McMillan, I mean, he's just great. Everything we have going on. So we're just excited for the season, and you better believe.
Listen, as someone that grew up on professional wrestling, the good guys are only as good as the bad guys, right? So Hollywood, you have picked a lane. I'm not sure which one it is. It could be a good guy if you're in Vegas, and be the bad guy for the rest of the league. But we need personalities in Hollywood. That's why you were the first coach in the league. So if I say Tom's guy, it's not a bad thing. You were the first coach in the league, and Coach McMillan. You come with an incredible set of credentials. You're on the game day color on the radio for the Vegas Raiders. So you guys are a power couple over there, and I think it's only appropriate. As I told you, the first GM coach combo that was hired in the league, that's the team that you get to host twice. That's the Cincinnati Slingers. So the only 2 American teams that we have formally hired both the GM and the coach. We have the schedule up on the screen, and you play host to Stuttgart in 5/31. So you guys have you guys haven't seen this, but we were messing around with the schedule. You have 2 buys very early in the season, just the way the schedule kind of spit itself out. So, Vegas gets a taste of you guys on 4/18. There's no other home game until 5/31. So maybe you'll come back home and be number 1 in the division, and then you load it up with home games to finish the year.
Well, that'll be great, but we definitely have 4/18. 4/18 is circled. First game of the first game of the year. We're going to try to kick it off the right way. Then, of course, we're playing against my former owner, who is Greg Fanario over there in Reading. And again, we was a dynamic duo with the Rough Riders, and I'm very excited to go up against my guy. But again, everything that comes through Vegas.
Well, it's all good. It's all good. Mark, do you have any final words for us? We're certainly ecstatic to have you as part of the league. You have a tremendous background, and I think, jokes aside about targets and whatnot, I think you guys together are certainly a power couple over there. So, Mark, would love to hear from you now that you're officially on board and officially associated with our Rockers.
Yeah, it's been exciting, from day one. Me and Hollywood, we hit it off, and we're texting each other at 9, 10 o'clock at night about players. So we come in the office, we get on the grind, man, and we try to get these players in and make sure everything's on the up and up. And obviously, with my background, just try to, bring something different, bring more excitement to the league, and, try to get some good players in here and just build the league up so we can, all be successful. Obviously, we want to win the championship, but we want every team to be successful for the league can grow and continue to be, prosperous from overseas to here in the States. But like Hollywood said, at the end of the day, we want to win it all, baby, here in Vegas.
I like it. Spoken like a true GM. Hollywood is not rooting for the rest of the teams. He's rooting for their back. I get it. Hey, pleasure having both of you on. Listen, in my personal book of Vegas, listen, we're in Vegas. We're talking about the odds. Hollywood was the first guy in, and he's got to be considered the favorite. He had a leg up on the rest of the crowd. So again, I don't just say target lightly. He had the longest runway to sign players and whatnot. So I think everyone's looking over at Vegas, obviously our HQ. So we've invested a lot in that market, and we're hoping you guys are successful and can carry the flag, of course.
Viva Las Vegas, baby. Viva Las Vegas.
Hollywood, what's the move? It's this one? What's the Hollywood move? There it is. There's 2 fingers. All good, guys. Hey, pleasure having you both. You guys are great. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
Dan, you did a brilliant job on this schedule. You and Tom, as always. This is
exactly
amazing.
Like we drew it up. It's exactly like we drew it up.
You may not have done the graphics, but I know who did the scheduling, right? No, brilliant job. And I think that our fans are probably, they're going to go out and get their tickets, and now they know what days and all that. So it's good. I mean, who they're playing, that's the most important part.
You're going to laugh, but yes. All good. Are we wrapping this up here? Are there any mystery guests coming in?
There is no mystery guest. No, we moved our mystery guest to Tuesday.
I don't even know who that was. So it's almost like we didn't have one.
It's almost
okay. Can I say this as we wrap? Can I say this?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, Corinne, what this was hazing. You guys all pretended to have some technical difficulties. You said, can Dan handle it? The answer is yes, I can handle it because I've dealt with this before. It's great. Okay. I am now catching up on all the comments from our lovely supporters. I tell you, I shouldn't admit this because at some point you guys are just going to say mean things about me, but I read everything and I love seeing the excitement. So just some of the questions that we got were without kind of saying too much behind the scenes. We're working on a larger streaming platform. We'll have the announcement as we get closer to the season, but we're trying to aim a little bit higher. There are certainly easy ways to get the games out, which you guys can use your imagination. We will give you an official word when that's out. Obviously, we need to give you a heads up on that. Now that we've announced all of the games, you can reach out to your local arena. Tickets are going to start going on sale now that we've identified those. To the extent that you want to travel internationally to find your team, like that Dusseldorf game, which I think is going to be really fun. And I did not realize that Jay Allen had any background with Germany to understand any of the curse words that are going to be thrown at him. But I'm excited. This is the time to really invest in this league. It's year one. Corinne, you were not on the call today, but we had a Zoom with all 10 coaches. We're going over which rules we want to change, which ones we want to pull out. So it's really exciting to see this come together, and it's come, Corinne, a long way from me and you being on the first Zoom and just kind of seeing, what was going on. But we have made tremendous progress in terms of our signings in this last month or so. We got about 3 months before the start of the season, and really everything is in place. We have, as Jay Allen alluded to, a lot of signings that we haven't announced, but our rosters are starting to be filled out. And Coach Moore got brought on this week. We had a number of coaches that officially went onto the payroll 2 weeks ago. So we're going to give them time to staff up. But now, Corinne, we're having this interesting issue as we wrap the show. I promise I will wrap us. We are having, now that we have 10 coaches, right? We have coaches that are fighting over the same players. And sometimes we have players that are signed to a standard player contract in our league, but they're not really on a team until they make an active roster. Right. So, to this point, I've played my commission role to the extent that we're hiring coaches and GMs and all that fun stuff. But I'm going to have to start playing real commissioner in terms of navigating some of these player disputes, rule disputes. We had some discussions about a rule that didn't not everyone necessarily agreed on. So, now the fun part starts, and rule book is written in pencil for specifically this conversation. So, a lot of big things happening behind the scenes, and
it's about to get real. It's about to get real. That's what it is.
I think it's gotten real. I think it's real. We have Sire Burley pulling over in his car to do the live. We have Hollywood and Mark McMillan in Elijah's red lit office. I know what that office is. I've seen that before. Yes. And this is very much real. So Corinne, if you ask me who I think is going to win the league, who I think is set up for the best success, do you want to ask me that as the commissioner? Am I allowed to answer that?
You read my mind. I was about to ask you, who do you think is going to win the league?
Okay. I was a philosophy major, You know, I have some analytic stuff that I've done in sports. I think if we're just playing it out, right? The American teams, and again, I'm happy to be wrong. And if the coaches want to call me out, I'm just honest. And Mark and Hollywood are laughing that I said there's a target on Hollywood's back. I think the way that we've set these rules up, and again, I'm not going to release all of them, but by and large, the European teams, for the most part, are going to be staffed with European players for cost purposes. A number of reasons to have it that way. So you're going to have the vast majority of those players never having played arena football before. So I think if you're looking for a favorite, and again, I'm happy to be wrong. Coach Moore, Coach Garcia, Coach Hilson, Coach Hunt, you know, Coach Wise, the most decorated coach in European history, use this as motivation. But I think statistics, analytics, and history would tell you arena football is a different game, and one of the American teams should be considered the favorite. And then, you know, again, I see some of the rosters coming to shape. Reading, we kind of just got Coach Johnson on board. Who knows, right, how these rosters are going to end up shaking out. But Hollywood has been there since day one. Hollywood has played, you know, under Tom Mitchell, the COO of the league. So yeah. I think you're kidding yourself unless you actually, I'm not just saying it to give Hollywood a hard time. I actually think Vegas should be considered the favorite. And we'll see what the rosters shake out. And if Jay, who I know is listening, wants to tell me I'm wrong, happy to hear it. Saya has a tremendous history in arena football. Coach Johnson, Coach King, they're all super decorated. But, you know, Hollywood got a head start by about a month on everybody else. And if he's not considered the favorite, that's and again, there's different levels to this, and Hollywood's been in different leagues, and Coach King's been in different leagues. But Hollywood had a month head start in this league. So, you know, at some point there'll be some real odds that will be at a sports book somewhere. But the commissioner, from my vantage point, not really, not getting too much in the weeds and getting in trouble too much. I think the Vegas team has to be considered the overall favorite. But again, I'm very impartial, and I want the league to succeed as a whole. But you know, obviously you have to have your target somewhere, and the commissioners decided to put it on Hollywood's back.
You know, and I agree with you. Director of Fan Experience agrees with the commissioner. You know, I think you're absolutely right.
It's a good place to be. Good place to be on the right side. Are we good? Did we hit everything we need to hit?
I think we hit everything we were supposed to hit, and you know, we worked through the technical difficulties. Dan, you're amazing as always.
Well,
you
when
worked
we say
through them.
Yeah, we didn't work through them. You created them, and I worked through them. But yeah,
you know, okay, I didn't do it, but you know, luck would happen.
You basically just did a Steve Urkel. You're like, did I do that? Yes, you did, Corinne. I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. Okay. Well, so listen, on Tuesday, everybody, we're going to be back with you, our amazing commissioner and I. Tuesday at 4:00, we'll have our special guest who we'll put out on social media. On Thursday at 5:30 p.m. with Coach Hollywood, we'll also have another guest. That list will be set out with social media again in the coming days. We have a lot of announcements to make. I'm finally going to be able to talk about the cheerleading and some other things. So be looking for all sorts of things going on in the IAL as usual. And we just appreciate you guys so much. Please go subscribe to YouTube. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, and please go purchase your season tickets, okay? With that being said, Dan, we got through it.
Very suspicious that your technology is working perfectly now, but sure.
Well, I'm not on my cell phone now.
Sure.
I got on my computer, right?
Thank you, everybody. We see all the comments, and yeah, we love all the activity in the chat.
Sure.
So lovely having all of you, and yeah, stay tuned.
All right.